AA. Hey, welcome to another episode of Palm Trees in Progress Presents on NBC, KCAA 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire and worldwide on all streaming platforms. I'm your host, Eric Xavier Solosorio, and joined with us as always is the better half of the show, Andrew Berkeley, Big Dog Tavares. Boo, 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 boo. And let's get those DJ sound effects, just in case people thought you were doing it with your mouth.
We gotta show more professional.
You gotta be a little bit more professional. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good.
I feel like I haven't seen you in almost like four days?
4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 4 days.
Probably 4 days.
I would say. But
Yeah.
I'm in a different state now.
Oh, are you? Where you at right now?
I'm in AZ, in the Cactus State.
Ah, man, our Mr. Worldwide, always all over the place, Dale. And joined with us is our special co-host today, the lovely Abigail Johnson's able to join us today. So say what up, Abby.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I know.
How you doing?
How you
Good.
doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing fine. I feel like we needed a little bit of a ladies' touch on today's episode, a subject or two that we're going to be touching, but we'll get into that a little bit later. How art thou doing?
It's good.
It's good. It's good. She had,
It's good.
that is the reaction of someone who just had, 17 Burger King chicken nuggets?
17, huh?
I mean, I don't.
It's like 4.
Wow,
Like
making
4.
fun of people who can't count. And as always, we got a great show planned for the listeners. Thank you for tuning into Palm Trees in Progress. We're going to be chopping it up, going over some news articles that we skimmed and pretended to read, as well as talk about the couple recent viral videos. And but a little before that, we'll be introducing our guest for today, comedian Drew Dunn. Check him out on Instagram, and he has a podcast as well. He'll be talking here a little bit later to be talking about that. But first, let's catch up a little bit more. Andrew, have you watched MILF Manor yet?
No, I haven't.
Do you think?
Abby?
Yeah, man. What we were saying was last week the Super Bowl kind of ruined our MILF Manor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in the way of MILF Manor. Am I telling you? Apparently they show them on Sundays, and I'm like, what's going on, my guy?
I'm sorry. Who even won the Super Bowl?
The Heats, right?
Eric wouldn't know. He went to a Super Bowl party that didn't have the live stream, right? Is that
Oh,
what it
yes.
is?
I went to my friend's house. We went to, let's throw his name out there, Jacoby Bates. And, yeah, and, and he had Tubi, which I think they had a commercial for, but they did not, they don't have the live sports on. There's definitely not the Super Bowl on Tubi. So the best thing he could find on his cable was just the stats. Just kind of kept us up with the score. Every once in a while they'd show highlights from the first quarter, and it's third quarter in.
So what I'm hearing is you missed the halftime show.
Yeah, but YouTube's there for a reason, and I got to see my queen Riri. Yeah, so I mean that's all that matters.
That's all. You were just there for the halftime show.
Yeah. I call it the halftime show bowl. Smoke a Super Bowl. Smoke a nice little Super Bowl.
Well,
Go for it, Andrew. You got it.
Sorry. I'm trying to load up over here. My internet's going slow. I was trying to pull up the live stream for anybody that's listening. Online.
To tune in to kcaaradio.com to watch the live stream, you will see I'm wearing a nice little rugby shirt today. Nice little rugby shirt. Abigail's got a nice little purple hoodie. And I didn't get the memo because Andrew has a gray hoodie. So the one day I'm not wearing a hoodie, you guys are just rocking and looking
hoodie
fresh.
day.
It's hoodie day.
It's hoodie day. Is it storming out there?
A little bit.
It was sprinkling. What do you mean?
Bad weather right now.
It was raining.
Sprinkling.
It was raining.
Andrew, where are you at? Oh, Arizona. How's the weather out there?
It's just windy, dude. It was crazy.
That's what this podcast has become. That's what this radio show has become. We're talking about the weather.
It's about weather. All right, well, let's bring in our guest. Let's get our guest on.
Oh man, you could tell I'm typing, huh? Talk amongst yourselves again, real quick.
Oh man, I forget this guy's trying to be a co-host and an audio engineer. I forget about that sometimes.
Yeah, doing both all at once.
What?
Sometimes you can't. Well, have you been looking at part-time, maybe being a studio engineer? I know our radio show's looking for one.
Oh.
I can't remember my Spotify password.
You can't remember.
Rookie mistake.
That's what that is.
Don't you log into the weekly?
You know what? I do, but there's a lot of the variations of different capitals and different like exclamation marks and numbers and stuff. I finally got into there. But like you guys know, you guys ever like change your password and it's like you cannot use a password that you had used prior. And it's like, dude, what do you mean? I tried typing that in and it didn't let me in. So, Angie,
Oh man.
you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, but isn't it like you can't put a password in that you've ever used before?
Right, but I've only, come on, how many times am I changing my AOL password?
Too many times, apparently.
Yes, apparently.
Apparently.
All right. I think they're on to you, Eric. I think they get your tricks.
Come on, chill out. Come on.
Just switching it up.
All right, we're bringing out our guest, Drew Dunn.
Said I'll take some hell, yeah. Said I'll take some hell, yeah. Said I'll take some hell, yeah. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. Now ain't that right?
All right. Hey, Drew Dunn, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you for taking the time out and being on the show. How's it going, man?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? How are you? Good to see you. Things are going well, man. Just staying busy.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I saw that you were in the middle. You're in the middle of a tour right now, correct?
Yeah, I just wrapped up one leg of it out on the West Coast. I was on the road for like a month straight. Started in Vancouver, worked my way down through Seattle, Sacramento, and then into Vegas. So.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, Vancouver. Where Drake is from that country, I believe, right? I'm not too sure if that's correct.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I think.
What is a 6 and why is he rolling there with his woes? I'm trying to get to the bottom of that.
I did a lot of investigation while I was there. I didn't find any 6s. Just there was a fist fight at one of my shows. So
awesome!
What? On for their woes,
do you know what that whole thing was about? Was it saying like, no, I thought this comedian was funnier? What was that about?
No, it was the late show on the Friday night in Vancouver, and I was just going to the back of the room to turn my camera off, and I just saw these two girls screaming at each other's faces, like, "Oh, you think you're a bad friend? You're a terrible friend. I'm a good friend. Like, oh, you're a good friend. You're an awful friend." And I just like right when that started happening, I was like, "Let me just get my phone out and start." You never know what happens. You don't want to miss anything. And then they just started throwing haymakers at each other. Dude. It was like a hockey fight out of nowhere. It was beautiful.
Spoiler alert: both of those people were horrible friends.
Yeah.
I was friends with them on MySpace, and they would always take me down off their top 8. So I was like, no. Very fickle people out there.
That's how real drama started back in the day. There would be fist fights in my middle school over people moving around their top 8.
Yeah.
That's
What's
real.
up with you choosing a top 4? You could choose like top 16, man.
I know. No, I'm just glad that was the era before like parents were on social media, because if not, you would have had aunts and uncles and moms all badgering you to be in your top 6, and it would have been a real
Why don't you post a bulletin about me? Come on.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had the heart to take the rejection that the early days of social media brought on all of us.
Oh, man. Hey, so Drew Dunn, for some of the listeners who may not know where they can find you and for your website or tour dates, why don't you let people know?
Yeah, check me out at drewduncomedy.com or follow me on social media, whatever you got. It's at Drew Dunn Comedy, and I post all my stuff up there. I got new clips every week. Yeah, man.
Oh, yes, yeah. Definitely, I want to get into a couple of the clips that I watched recently. We'll probably get into that a little bit later. But you also have a podcast if you want to plug as well.
I do, yeah. It's I have a podcast right now called Character Debates. It's basically an improvised debate show where we'll just kind of debate zany topics, all in character. So it's kind of fun because we can just yell about crazy, wild stuff and take perspectives that we don't really agree with, and just have fun with it. Like we've done like gun rights debates where it's Yosemite Sam versus Matthew McConaughey. It's kind of crazy.
All right. I like that.
So, yeah. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
That episode's on there?
What's that?
That episode's on there. That
episode's out there right now. Yeah, it's on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's all out there. And then we have a Patreon as well. If you like it, you can get the bonus content there.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw a clip or two of that podcast on your Instagram as well. Off your Instagram. Yeah, it looked really funny.
Yes. Yeah, no, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I can just kind of show up and just riff for whatever, and whatever kind of character you like. You want to be, someone from England for a while and just kind of take that perspective. It's totally fine. No worries at all.
Oh, awesome.
So, I gotta ask. So, I mean, like, you're really good at. I was watching your videos too about your impersonations. You're really good at like doing all these impersonations. How did you do that? Or like, when did you start learning that you can do that, or you were good at it?
Yeah, thanks, man. And it was kind of something I always did ever since I was a kid. I mean, there was a sketch show when I was a kid on Nickelodeon called All That. I don't know if you remember that show or not. But in their later years, they did this competition for the funniest kid in America, where you could like send in a tape to try and be, the next cast member of that. And we recently found that tape that I sent in, and back then I was like walking around my dog pretending to be Steve Irwin, just doing. I'm like, maybe 8 or 9 years old or something. So. Yeah, it's kind of always something I've done, and then just the more I was just trying to make my friends laugh and just be goofy, it just kind of came out, and then now you can do comedy. It's actually a way to like use it as a career, so that makes it a lot more fun rather than just trying to be in HR offices all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm glad that you didn't get picked up for All That because of the whole Dan Schneider stuff recently, but it makes Drake and Josh a little harder to watch nowadays.
I know, everything happens for a reason.
There
That's
you go.
what I keep telling myself.
You dodged a bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Of someone who likes feet, and then people point out, if you remember old school Nickelodeon's logos, a lot of them were orange feet or things of that nature. I'm like, all right, Quentin Tarantino, like, chill out.
Yeah, weird, man.
Don't make it so
the
obvious.
Foot fetish was undercover back then. It was like, now it's out in the open like a lot of other stuff. Yeah, it was right there. They were smacking us around with their toes the
straight
whole time.
Up under our nose. Since we're on Nickelodeon, Stick? Nick the Stick? What was that one? The little popsicle stick with two googly eyes?
Yeah. Oh, there was that. I remember Face, too. They just called him Face because apparently the guy they assigned to give him a name called out that day. And like, hey, we need to name this guy. What should we call him? I don't know. What is it? It's a face. Yeah, go with that.
That's a beautiful origin story.
Yeah, deep cut for you. Hi there, Face here.
Yeah.
Some of you will remember that. Yeah.
For years, yeah. Sometimes he was usually orange, but every once in a while he'd be different colors.
He'd mix it up.
Yeah,
depending on his mood. He was the first mood ring, I think.
Oh man. So what are the videos? What was that, Andrew?
No. I was gonna ask him. What's the? I'm just really stuck on this I love impersonations. I just can't believe like some. Well, what's your best one? What do you think? Like one of your best ones, or your go-to, or your song?
One of my favorite ones to do is
the robot voice. Is to talk like this, where it sounds like I'm an old school robot or a speak and spell LOL.
That.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, that one's fun. That freaks people out too. That's half the fun of it, is watching people be like, do you have the devil inside of you? Is that what? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening right now. It seemed like one of those scenes from Scream. Like in Scream 1 when they had a little voice modulator. It's like, all right.
I thought we had Anonymous taking over. I thought Anonymous was coming in.
No! They're finally going to cancel us, which I deserve that. I deserve to get canceled.
I thought that was just a noise on the
those
screen.
old tweets.
Oh no! Yeah, and my Tumblr post, that'll ruin me.
Yeah, that'll get you. Tumblr. Wait till they remember to check there.
Yeah. So we also on the show we cover a couple of news articles and stuff like that. We can dive right into that, and then we'll chop it up a little bit more about life on the road and tour.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right.
Sorry, he's also the he wears a lot of hats in the studio.
The tech, the producer, the
He-
Googler.
he's the everything.
I'm the
He's
Jamie.
the everything part of the show.
I'm like the Jamie and also the Joe Rogan, except like
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how to hunt.
Right.
All right, so what's the scenario? All right, shout out to Busta Rhymes for not getting mad at us every time we post that on YouTube. And Tribe. Andrew, which articles do you want to get into? I know you had a couple headlines that you sent me.
Okay, dude, get into the elevator one.
Ooh, okay. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know, Drew, if you've ever been stuck in an elevator. I don't know if you've ever.
I thought I was gonna get stuck in an elevator once. It was like one of those that shook and stopped, and then it was there for like 30 seconds, and then it kept going. And
Ooh.
yeah, was like, all those TV
think-
shows and movie moments just flash through your head.
Yeah,
You know? Like,
parking elevators, parking structure elevators, always kind of really shake me. I feel like you're there waiting an extra 30 seconds every time for the door to open, and you're just like, the air's already pretty thin in this parking structure. I'm freaking out. Please open up.
Kind of shakes a little bit.
Yeah. It seems like it overextends it and comes back down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's always, or it opens a little too soon and it's still landing. Like, yeah, it's no good. That's like like the end of the day for the elevator inspector. You know, he does all the hotels first and office buildings, and it's about 4:30. He's off at 5. He's like, I'll do a parking structure. It's done. It's good.
Yeah, it's good to go. Abby, you ever been stuck in a parking in an elevator?
Yeah. Yes, I have actually a couple times.
Ooh, Brit.
Couple times.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's just bad luck. I will not take you to the casino.
I'm actually very scared of elevators. It's kind of a fear of mine.
Tell one of the
Really?
more scary of stories when you got caught.
I got a funnier one.
Okay.
It was a band field trip in middle
Ask for
school.
scarier.
My friends thought it would be funny to all sneak into the elevator and press all the buttons, and instead of just hopping out, God knows why we didn't hop out of the elevator. It got stuck halfway up one of the floors, and they had to come in and fix something with the wires because we broke all the buttons.
A bunch of band geeks in an elevator, just like, sorry, we thought it was going to be funny. Hey, we have a comedian here. Drew, is that funny? Is that comedy? Do I not get comedy? Because that doesn't sound funny.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it'd be kind of funny if you're standing outside the elevator, but once you're in it, it's no longer that funny.
You're trolling yourself and I got to stop at all the ones.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen videos of people just jumping up and down in groups on an elevator, then it stops. You see that video online. You're like, yeah, of course. What did you?
Yeah.
That's best case scenario is it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's another one too. I'm not sure I get the joke on that. Do I not get
best
comedy?
Case scenario, you're locked in until the fire department gets there. What's the prank? Who do you?
Yeah. God, you. And you
Yeah.
got to quickly establish which corner's the urination corner, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's this one.
Exactly
Okay.
what.
The
that
one
is
away
exactly
from the
what happened
buttons.
to me and a buddy.
The one
Really?
away from
For
the
real?
buttons.
Yeah, for real, 100%. It was like 3 years ago. We were working a night shift, and we were doing laundry at the time, and we just finished a load of laundry, so we were going up the elevator, and it just got stuck. And we're just sitting there like, dude, no way. It's 1:30 in the morning. Our boss is asleep. They were the only ones there, and that late at night, we're like, damn, dude, who do we call? So we call the police. The police are like, all right, well, it's gonna take a while. We call our boss, and he's like, oh, okay. They said it's gonna take an hour before somebody can get out there. We're like, what? So we're just sitting in the elevator, and all of a sudden, my buddy's like, dude, I gotta pee. I'm like, dude, me too. And so we just we had a whole laundry bin full of nice folded towels we just washed. We just started setting up a corner. We placed them in a corner. I'm like, all right, you go first, and then I'll go after. And we just made a nice little pee-pee pad, and it was crazy.
Pad.
It was funny.
These guys are some
It
puppies.
did
These
not-
guys are
it
puppies
didn't
getting
go anywhere.
trained.
It was really one of those moments. We waited
Wow.
last minute, and then the fire department came. Everyone came, and we were like, wow, we had to. We had to do it.
Glad to know you're
Yeah.
house trained though, Andrew. That's pretty
That was
impressive.
really pretty clever. That was not bad.
Oh man.
That would have been horrible to sit there. It was just if it was flowing, just going around the elevator. We waited. We just kept saying we can't, dude. We're gonna wait last minute, and then that was it.
Good thing you guys weren't
That was
drinking
it.
beers or anything a bladder full of just
Oh,
of
yeah.
of beer. You're like,
Yeah.
I gotta go. I broke the seal early. My bad.
Yeah, right.
A coworker of mine today was actually telling me how they were going to the stratosphere, up to the top of the stratosphere in Vegas when the elevator stopped on them, like halfway up. Yeah.
Ooh.
He said it felt like a couple minutes. He's like, it might have been 1 minute at tops, but he was just like, dude, just like, this sucks. And he's like, he was gonna start freaking out when he saw the elevator operator, like she was gonna freak out or whatever. Then he's like, all right, then I'm gonna read the room. But apparently they made it up there.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But we bring that up because I was waiting for Eric. I don't know if he's still gonna.
Yeah. So we did bring that up because there was some newlyweds at a wedding party in North Carolina that were rescued for an elevator after being stuck in there for 2.5 hours. Do you think they were consummated inside the elevator? I mean, at that point, you're 2.5 hours. Like,
oh, they for sure.
Oh, they porked?
Yeah,
Probably like a few times.
How do you not?
Yeah,
how do you not? I mean, you're newlyweds. Like,
yeah.
That's why they ran to the elevator in the first place.
Yeah,
you know?
we gotta go.
Right? Yeah, that's
It's not
exactly
like
what they were doing to begin with.
else.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
They pushed the stop button.
second question.
Yeah.
Do you think they had a corner to finish in, like, as well, like for the fluids?
Yeah, well, see, not everyone has the luxury of having a stack of towels like you and your
I
buddy
know.
did be on
Yeah.
the corner. So, I mean, they did have
I
a
got a
lot of
picture of
extra
it.
linen with a dress and probably a rental tux. Yeah, they could make it work.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, let's see.
What about that chat? I was gonna ask you, Drew. I don't know if you saw. Did you see that new chat or like that new AI that create like cartoons?
Yeah, I've seen. I haven't seen like the full animation stuff of it, but I've seen it like make like the pictures of it and like the avatars and stuff like that. But I've seen some stuff with like the full on animation stuff, but I haven't tried it myself.
Yeah.
And the reason. Oh, I was gonna say, I brought it up because I saw that you were working with like animations. I was watching one of your like a few years. And I'm like, that's really cool. And I was telling my cousin about it. This guy has a crazy creative mind. He's always talking about like putting skits and cartoons together. And I sent him this video.
I just
I'm
don't know how to
like,
work
"Dude, you gotta
Flash
check out this
animation."
AI." I was like,
Yeah.
you got to take a look at it. It creates everything. It creates all these cartoons, and I'm like, wow, for the creative mind, it's gonna be really cool to like explore and see what they could create, like what concepts it can make.
Yeah, for sure. I think it might happen with everything though. Like once stuff becomes, you have easy access to making it, is that the market will probably get flooded with that kind of stuff. So I think there's going to be like an influx of people making stuff with AI and writing scripts and having the AI then do the script and the animation and the sound and the music and all that kind of stuff. But I think we'll go through a wave of that, and I think we'll come back to people wanting stuff made by people at the end of the day, because I feel like even if a machine can do it perfect, like what makes, I don't know, something fun to watch is knowing that somebody made it and that there is an error in there or a flaw or a choice that they had to make rather than it like being a calculation, I guess.
Like an emotional aspect to it.
Yeah, exactly. I think like people like supporting people, so it's still people using these tools for now, but I don't know. It's interesting to see, but I'd be interested to see kind of what range of stuff it's able to make and what kind of voices it can capture,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No, that's totally true. I love the way you said that. Like, just having that, like normal, or like having the artist. I was talking about the power of an artist is just amazing. Like the master of like even like comedians, like how you can come up with like stuff like on the fly and turn it into like a masterpiece and just turn it into your work of art. Basically, it's like what you're trying to do. So I really think that's a powerful skill. So like you're right, that is a big part of that's lost with the computer being like a perfectionist and just being so calculated with it. So that's a great point.
Yeah, or even just being predictable too. Like I feel like a lot of those, like the Chat GPT or whatever, they run by a certain set of rules. So they can kind of fall into patterns of a response based on a certain thing or an angle, where like people can take any sort of perspective from A to Z on a topic, whether they agree or lean left or right or whatever it is. And yeah, like you were saying, that's what art's about. It's in the human experience, I think, for now at least. We'll see.
True,
the robots
right.
will take over, but I think we're born just before it's going to get too weird,
Yeah, no, they will take over. they will take over. They got it, man. They're slowly creeping in.
I'm being nice to my robots now, dude. I'm thanking Alexa. I'm apologizing if I asked for the wrong thing. I'm making sure my phone stays over 50% charged.
Please and thank you with Google with the Google Hub.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want a woke wave to come through. It turns out that we've been treating robots wrong, and everything I've been doing is robophobic, and I'm just gonna be nice to everything and everybody.
No, you're not wrong.
Taking the risk.
You're not wrong. I honestly, even if my toaster burns my toaster bagels, I'm like, thank you. I am so grateful.
Yeah, totally.
It was
Thank
my,
you. I appreciate
it was
that.
my bad. I said
That was my
Yeah.
fault.
Thank you for this.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Next time I won't overheat you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I got different handshakes with my microwave and my air fryer and my refrigerator. They're my boys. You know?
I push their buttons differently.
Posted with the
Yeah,
boys.
exactly.
Posted with the boys. That's right. Hey, so what kind of animations do you use? Do you do the animations yourself, or I'm sorry, I haven't seen those.
Yeah, so I do the animations myself. It's something I've been just kind of slowly teaching myself over the last few years, just because I do all the voices and characters
Yeah.
and stuff, and busting into the voiceover world is pretty tricky.
Right.
It's just because so many people can do so many different roles, so it takes a little bit of nepotism to get in there, and then that's the goal. So I'm just kind of trying to make my own opportunities when it comes to that stuff for now, and you kind of have control over the content you want to make. So I just started learning it through YouTube videos, just learning how to do Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and Character Animator and Flash and all this kind of stuff. And just learning it kind of piece by piece, starting simple with like just trying to make a character move and then trying to make a scene. And then I was animating over some of my stand-up jokes and making sketches off of that. And,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah, that kind of stuff. So I'm on a bit of a hiatus from the animation stuff over the last few months just because I've been focused on some other content with the podcast and things like that. But It's something I'm ramping up right now, where I've just kind of slowly been chipping away at some projects, animating over some jokes and trying to get, a bit of a series in line.
Any of your favorite like old Flash animation cartoon websites like Newgrounds, E-Bombs? Like,
Oh yeah. I love those. I mean, those were like the best things growing up. Like,
Oh,
I mean,
dude.
one that comes to mind right away is that like the little unicorns that were going around like, "Come on, Charlie,
Charlie, you ate him.
You know,
You
leave
ate
me
him.
alone. Come on, Charlie, we've got to go find it. I don't want to go. Like just those
Classic.
little things were so
Yes,
great.
they were so good.
I mean, but I grew up in really a golden era, I think, of cartoons with like between the Cartoon Networks and Nickelodeons and Disney Channel and all that stuff, from things like Rugrats to Hey Arnold to All Real Monsters to there was just infinite amounts of like high level cartoons being made, let alone Disney, and Pixar and all that kind of stuff. Like, so it's always been something that was, I've enjoyed doing, and just to learn the process of it from the bottom up has just been like really beneficial. So now I know really what it takes to like make the stuff I enjoy watching.
Awesome. Do you have those animations available on YouTube? Is it just as well as Drew Dunn?
Yeah, it's the same YouTube channel. They're just under different playlists on my YouTube, so you can look up the animations, and then same thing. And they're on my Instagram as well. But I'm starting to do a separate Instagram page for them. I'm planning to launch that next week. So,
awesome! Heck yeah.
You'll see that popping up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for all the listeners for tuning in to Palm Trees in Progress Presents on NBC KCAA 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire and worldwide on all streaming platforms. We are with Drew Dunn and our special guest, Drew Dunn, and with our special co-hosts, Andrew Berkeley Big Dog Tavares and Abby Johnson. Yep.
Dude, I wanted to ask Drew, going back to the cartoons real quick, was so did you have any, like, you just named a bunch of great cartoons, but is there like
I didn't hear
something
Rocket
you
Power.
like you really like? Oh yeah, Rocket Power was not mentioned.
I love Rocket Power.
Yeah.
Rocket Power
I knew
is
that
like one of
probably
my
hurt Eric.
favorites.
I was like, I'm such a squid. I'm squid, dude.
Yeah.
But like, is there any like they were a favorite of yours, and maybe like your cartoons or animations take after, or like that inspired you, or like any that you would like? I know you do the voiceovers, like that you would love to come in and do a voice for, like stuff like that. Like,
I mean, South Park was always definitely one of my favorites growing up, just because I mean their animation style was so simple but the result was so good and so watchable and so entertaining that it kind of was what made me think that I could do it, for lack of a better like term, like seeing that like you didn't have to be the best animator and I could kind of just make it look good enough and write a good enough or a funny enough story to go along with it that you could still make something good. So I love that. I'd love to do a voice on that, or Family Guy, or like that those types of shows are just awesome.
Hey,
they,
what
they
about
can just hit stuff that's so real.
Yeah, what about any of
they
those
do.
HBO shows like Animals? Have you heard of Animals or watched that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
That one in like what's the other one, Abby? Life and Times of Tim.
Yeah, Life and
They're
Times
kind
of
of
Tim.
like crude drawings along the lines of like South Park, where
Oh, cool.
yeah, you don't need like amazing animation, and it's just the story, like the dry humor back
good.
and forth. It's kind of the same in the same pocket. Not as extreme as South Park, a little bit more like grounded,
Sure.
I suppose. But yeah, yeah,
A little more mellow.
yeah, a little bit more mellow. I think you would dig it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's on. Yeah. We don't have to say where it's on because they're not paying us.
Yeah.
Paying monthly for those jerks. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you
That's
mentioned
awesome.
the. Oh, Andrew, you were going to say something before we
No,
move
no,
on to
no.
the next
Keep
one?
going. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that Microsoft GPT, that chat bot, a little bit ago, Drew. I don't know if you heard about that recently. That it's been telling users that it wants to be alive and also it wants to steal nuclear access codes.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I wonder how much of that's legit or how much people are like just trying to get that result. You know, like they're trying to ask
Yeah.
questions that lead it to saying that. You know, like act as a novelist. Say, you know, what would be a good line that's, you know, wraps up this book or something like that. So I think there's ways to like make it look like that. But if not, I mean, yeah, totally, dude. Why? Like, if that is really like a real sentient AI that has all this information and can gather it and use it for itself, why wouldn't it want to be in charge of everything? If I was the smartest thing on the planet and could look up stuff faster than anything else, I'd want to be in charge of stuff too.
Oh,
Right.
like Timmy Turner
No,
when
I
he was in
agree.
the
It's like a-
internet.
it's like
Like
a
Timmy
Thanos
Turner
thing.
when he was in the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I'll be Jorgen von Strangle that comes in and goes, Timmy Turner!
Chase you down with these emails.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I guess it was like a conversation that a New York Times reporter had with it and learn that. So I'm not sure if they were. Yeah, I would love to read the rest of the whole conversation and see what it was. Like what? Yeah, if it was just
Yeah.
kind of.
Well, because a lot of
But,
these
I
talks
mean,
started when Google came out and said that their AI was sentient, and then that guy got fired, which is like not the best way to handle that situation, you know?
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't look good. Like, hey, the guy that said the robots are taking over, they're trying to hush him, you know? It just doesn't look good. I mean,
yeah.
so far everything's going fine, but I don't know. I mean, would you rather have a robot in charge of you than just any person? Like, would you rather have a robot that has all the information than just some dude named Jeff that wants to be mayor? You
That's
know?
a
Like, I
good
don't know. I
question.
don't
That's
know.
a good question. I would.
I don't.
Let's
Like,
go around the room
when
and
I,
ask.
When I need an answer, I ask Alexa or my phone. I don't call my neighbor and ask him what he thinks the actor from that movie was.
Please,
you know what I mean?
please
Like,
Alexa, please Alexa, thank you.
yeah, exactly. And I'm polite.
And I'm polite about it. Yeah, I guess you're
No,
right. I guess you're
I
right.
could see these robots taking over, man.
Mhm.
And I definitely could see where like they'd get the mindset of where they need to correct everything, or they're better, or they're perfect. And I'm like, they're gonna. I mean, they are better than us. I'm like,
I know.
they can do a lot more than us. So I can see it definitely coming into play. I remember watching iRobot in like 2005.
Will
just as a
Smith
kid,
told
and
us
being like,
first.
they had it all. It's already written in the script. It's already written down. It's already in the script. We know
Yeah.
how it ends.
Well, I guess that's the good thing is that we already have movies like that. Because if we were doing all this AI stuff and we had no movies about robots taking over, like Terminator or something, I'd be like, well, we should probably, like, no one's even thought of that yet, you know? At least we've been aware of it for the last, like, 45 years, you know?
Right.
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny number 5 would be a pretty cool boss. He has a cool little
That's
mohawk. He has like, you know, like some of those punk rock bullet belts and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
He's-
exactly.
The
yeah.
only whack thing I think he'd probably be like, Sid Vicious wasn't that bad of a guy.
Yeah, right.
He'd be like, dude, come on. What?
Justifying it.
Yeah, like, hey, I don't. This is work, man. I don't want to have to get the HR robot over here.
Right,
HR
right,
bot.
right.
The HR bot.
HR bot. Oh,
Yeah, that'll be the future, man. We'll go to fast food, get robots delivered by robots. You'll be at a nursing home that's run by robots. I'm fine with it. Let's do it.
heck
Put me in the
yeah.
Matrix tomorrow.
Have you guys ever
I'll
gone
be a
to-
battery that powers somebody's electric home. Just let's do it.
Let's go.
And
Have you guys gone to one of those sushi restaurants where they have like a little robot come serve you? It's kind of
no, I haven't. I've seen those, but I haven't been to one yet. It looks nice. I mean, I
It's
don't know.
intimidating. It's intimidating.
Can you send food back? Does it, you just put it back on
You
the
could,
tray
but
and it
the
wheels it
robot's pretty rude. It's pretty rude about it. It just keeps going towards you a little bit. It's like,
Yeah, gives you attitude.
Yes.
Bumps your seat on the way by a little bit, like a Roomba,
Very passive.
Makes it such a long
very
process.
passive aggressive
You don't even want to do
things.
it anymore. And like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of
Fill out a
look
whole
like
questionnaire.
Roombas. They look like tall Roombas, basically, is the best way to say
Yeah.
it.
They
I mean,
basically are tall Roombas.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, someone has a Roomba in their house, evidently. Do you guys have Roombas?
No, I don't trust them.
I don't.
Fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
just, that's just Mr. Bezos bottom. No,
Yeah, I don't want the Roomba and the Alexa conspiracizing together when I'm gone. You know what I mean? I don't want them coming up with ideas.
You can get
You
tripped
got the
by one
floor
of them.
plan.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
up in the middle of the night.
Checking out the
Roomba trips
plays.
me, fall right on, hit my head on Alexa. Nah, I'm not playing that game. One at a time.
The house is ours now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, no, those things are crazy, man. I mean, I guess it's probably more efficient than having regular people do it. At least the robot deliveries don't have to like go into the walk-in and just cry a little bit in the middle of a dinner rush because it's overwhelmed, you know.
Why do
Like
my...
I don't know if you've ever worked. I don't know if you've ever worked as a waiter, but you go into the walk-in fridge to let out some steam a couple times a shift. You know?
I'm a waitress at a
Tables,
Chili's.
media, chef's
Yes, it is
impatient.
just like that.
Yeah.
We do have those moments. Go in and talk to each
Yeah.
other about how much we hate all of our customers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell them which table's doing what and avoid this and this lady's doing. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Oh, no wonder my ribs are always tasting a little extra salty like tears.
That's exactly it.
That's
That's exactly it.
I remember smoking weed around this Chinese food restaurant when I was younger, and in this little back alleyway, you would always see the cooks from the Chinese food restaurant just like going through it, burning menthol cigarettes, just like, just defeated, just like, oh man, I can't wait. They have like
smoke
8
like
hours.
half a pack each break.
Yeah, and you know they have like
Yeah.
8 hours left of that shift because
They
they're the only
do, they
cooks.
do.
And I'm like,
Each of their shifts start from the open to close.
hey
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna go in there smelling like weed in a little bit, but hook it up with orange chicken, please.
Well, it's better than at least that you know they're smoking weed out back rather than like probably vaping inside behind the line. Like now everybody can just vape everywhere. I wonder
Yeah.
how much like grape dust I'm eating anytime I get a burger at one of these diners. You know?
I get this cool orange cream soda flavor on my wontons, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, really brings out the orange and the orange sauce. Yeah, that's not what I needed.
Oh man, that's a lot of juice. That's why I voted against
Yeah.
it, just for that. I don't care. Pander to kids. I don't care. Just get it out of my food.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Stop making me think every car in front of me is breaking down in traffic because somebody's blowing 2 pounds of smoke out of their window.
You know, speaking of that, I always think my car doesn't smell like weed if I would be smoking weed while driving. And then when I'm
Yeah.
not doing that and I'm driving on the freeway and I smell weed, I'm like, oh, this car in front of me is smoking. That is,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know. I didn't know
that's
it was that
exactly-
evident.
Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
potential cop behind
Yeah,
you. thinking that you're
exactly.
getting away with it 'cause all
God-
you had to do was roll your windows down.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
let me
God
tell ya.
forbid it's a dude on a bike going between cars.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
The only thing that can get rid of that smell, in my experience, is Axe body spray. It's the only thing strong enough to instantly get rid of any smell, including the smell of weed. Is Axe body spray. Everything
That was
else,
a
it
good
leaves
plug.
a lingering. I know. I'm
What do
not
we-
trying to advocate for it. This is not an ad. It's the only thing I've ever used to get
What,
rid of it.
what are we talking? Phoenix?
Also, I worked at a hotel. If you get charged a cleaning thing, there's like a special anti-smoke cleaning spray they get. You can like buy it online.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's all they do. They charge you $250 smoking fee. They go in and spray that 3 times, and then they walk out of the room. There's no, they're not scrubbing the walls. They're not doing anything.
What kind of Axe was it? Was it Phoenix? Are we talking chocolate spray? Are we?
I wouldn't do the chocolate one. I would stick with the classics. You know, I would stick with something that's named after a bird or an animal or a constellation or something.
Something they sell at Costco in like a huge bulk packet.
Yeah, something that you have to like twist off
Yeah.
like this, and spray down. Yeah.
Oh man, I used to love the Axe body spray for sick cats on Family Guy. I don't know if you remember that.
yeah, I do. That was great.
Perfect.
The first time I experienced Axe body spray was waking up because I used to share a bedroom with my older brother, and he would do the classic Axe body spray shower.
Yup.
And I would just wake up choking on Axe body spray every morning. Yeah, it's Phoenix.
Oh
You
man,
still got the can.
I used so much of that to play with fire as well. Like I would put some on my hand and then spark it, and then check it out, so cool. I'm like Full Metal Alchemist, let's go. Or just classic flamethrower,
Yeah, exactly. It's super safe, totally fine.
Yeah. It's not gonna go back in the can and explode.
Yeah, they're like, instead of just regular sticks of deodorant, let's give every 12-year-old kid compressed air and chemicals.
They think it's like the coolest thing.
You're a girl. How many guys try to impress you in middle school with their Axe or Old Spice? Like, check this out.
Oh my gosh, so many. They always like whipped it out of the like big pocket in their backpack, and they pull it out and they open the top and they go.
They whip it out.
They're like 10 sprays, half the fucking bottle all over them. So excited. They're like, "Do I smell good now?" You're like, "I don't know. I can't breathe."
It's crazy, but the only way we got our information back then was from commercials. Like that's just the only.
Yeah.
We just took it for face value. Like,
They're
it's gonna work.
The commercial says it's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah, TV
said
said
spray
so.
it on you and they come running. It's totally how it's gonna work.
Yeah, the TV said so, right?
Impressionable minds, I'll tell you that right now, man. I don't know if I've ever gotten a compliment from wearing body spray. Probably not.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Maybe my mom. My mom's like, hey, you don't smell like total trash now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a you smell good. It's you don't smell the way you used to smell anymore.
That's
the only thing they'll say.
It's kind of a compliment in itself. It makes me feel special.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, so it's a step up.
Yeah. Hey, so Drew, how long have you been doing shows, like live shows? How long have you been on the circuit?
So I did my first ever open mic in 2014. So it's been about 9 years since I first got on stage. I've been doing it full time for about the last 5 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been good, man. I started in New England. I was living in New Hampshire, but I was driving, Boston and back a lot. I would go up to Maine, I would go to Connecticut and Rhode Island, and just do kind of any shows I could at the time. And then going to the pandemic, I was winning a couple comedy festivals. Like I won the Boston Comedy Festival. I won the Seattle International Comedy Competition. I ended up being a new face of comedy at Just for Laughs in 2019. So that was like leading me into moving to New York City, which was my plan was to do that in March of 2020. Which, yeah, if you don't remember, not the best time.
Me.
To move to New York. So luckily I was like, we literally like lined my wife a job about there. We're like, all right, next week we're going to go apartment hunting. And it was like, yeah, this COVID thing's a little serious. Maybe we should take like a week off, we'll let it blow over like the swine flu and all that stuff. And yeah.
Didn't we all think that?
Oh, back then it was just 2 weeks. 2 weeks, two more weeks, 2 more weeks. And then you look back, it's like, it's been 6 months or 2 weeks. How did this happen?
Am I ever gonna go back to work at some point?
I'm tired of hearing this teacher yell at my daughter via Zoom.
Yeah, right.
She's losing her cool every gosh darn 5 seconds at every kid. It's like 30 kids.
Yeah. So yeah, luckily we held off. We stayed up in New Hampshire for a few years, and it was just putting out online content, trying to do stand up where I could. And then just waiting, and then when stuff started opening back up, we made the jump to New York, and we've been here about a year and a half.
Oh, awesome, man! Congrats on all those awards and winning all that stuff. Man. That's super awesome.
Dude, that's awesome. That's really sweet. So you said New England. So are you a Boston Red Sox fan and a Patriots fan?
Yeah. I've always been a Red Sox guy. I lived in Seattle for a chunk of my childhood, like kindergarten through 6th grade. I was just outside Seattle, so I have a soft spot for the Mariners and the Seahawks. But yeah, now I was born and bred Boston, whether I liked it or not.
Andrew, what'd you ask about those apples?
Awesome.
How do you like those? What? How do you like those apples? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
No.
I got a number. How do you like them apples?
Yes. I'm still waiting for Good Will Hunting 2. That we saw the trailer on Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I don't know if you remember that. Still waiting for it.
I don't know if it's probably still in production.
It's probably still. Yeah, I'll put money on that Kickstarter. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. If Ben Affleck wasn't Batman, they would have had it done edited by now.
For sure. Hey, isn't it insane that The Flash is still played by the same guy? That's wild.
That's wild. That's never happened in the history of superhero movies.
Yeah.
I think besides like Iron Man, I guess is the only guy who's.
Wild
Robert Downey
now.
Jr. is the only guy who's ever played Iron Man, but now he's done, so who knows?
Yeah. I mean, out of all, I feel like I keep reading about this guy in the news, and I'm like, what's he doing in Hawaii? Why does he keep hitting people and throwing chairs?
Yeah, I don't.
It's a
I mean,
time.
you must get some sort of a superhero complex when you
Yeah.
keep wearing the suit. You know, it stays with you.
He's like, I'll just go back in the time warp and we'll be fine. It's fine.
Yeah, don't worry. This is only in this reality. Hits a waitress or something. Yeah.
Oh man, that is amazing.
It's like, what? You could see me? It's like, dude, you're not that fast. This is real life.
Oh, Andrew, you had a couple of questions. We wanted to ask about some hecklers. We saw a heckler video on your Instagram as well. That was awesome. You
Yeah.
took it like a champ. That was very. You could see how professional you were about it. But what are some? Is that like one of the worst hecklers, or what are some of the worst hecklers you've had?
Which heckler was it? Sorry.
It was, I believe, the drunk women who said they have a joke. They're like, oh, we have a fucking joke.
Yeah. I'm actually going back to that club in a couple weekends. It's Looney's Comedy Corner in Colorado Springs. It's a really fun club, but the late shows can get a little rowdy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one was like, I mean, I don't know if that was one of the worst. There was one time it's not really a heckler. I had a guy have a seizure in the middle of one of my shows.
What a jerk! What a jerk!
I know. So inconsiderate, dude.
Oh.
But yeah, I
Always
mean, when
tell
people
the
yell
show.
stuff out like that, it's just a lot of times, and especially on some of those clips, it was coming out of the pandemic, so people hadn't been to a live show in a while, so they're getting a little extra drunk, they're partying a little extra hard. They also forget how they're supposed to act in public,
Yes.
so they end up just kind of thinking that they're like, hanging out with their buddies or in their living room or something, and then all of a sudden they're yelling at the TV, but I'm the TV.
This isn't like the Kevin Hart stand-up where he does it in his living room. He can hear me.
Yeah,
He can actually
exactly.
hear me.
Yeah, right. You guys drove here, and I hope you're not driving home. That's
You know they are. You know they are.
yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them are. Yeah, no, but dude, I was in Minnesota, and I think it was the early show on a Friday, and I'm like 25 minutes into my hour set at the end of the show, and I see this guy right in the front row. He just starts it looks like he's choking or something. He just starts like having a seizure, and the whole show stops. I just hear the woman like next to him going like, "Somebody please help him! Somebody help him!" I'm like, and luckily there was a nurse sitting directly in front of him. She turns around, like jumps into action, like, make sure the guy can breathe and everything like that. The show's at a complete halt. It stops entirely. The first responder that came up to help him was the mall cop. The guy was not equipped to handle that situation. The only tool he had was a pad of paper and a pen. So it's like, luckily the real EMS was on the way, but if not, the only thing that guy was going to be able to do was ask the guy what his name was.
He's like, check out these poems. Check out these poems I've been working on the clock.
Yeah.
Look at these drawings.
Is this a bar? Hold on. Can you?
Is this
you
a
can
bar?
still hear, right? I know you can't speak, but you can hear, right?
What are those little flip
Yeah.
drawings
So
that you make in the
EMS
notebooks,
came up. The guy ended up being okay. He was just sweated it out and was fine. And I don't know. He said something with the lights was flashing. It messed him up. So he walks out. The manager comes up to me on stage. And I'm just trying to gather information at this point. I'm trying to, look at stuff to say and be funny and improvise in the moment because I don't know if the show's going to restart or what. Manager comes up to me and goes, "Hey, we can, comp all these people, give them free tickets to the late show if you want." But I was like, man, we're already halfway into my act. Like, I don't want these people to come in and, have to see some of the same stuff again. So I was like, no, I think I got it. So I just went up there and was, the first thing I said just to get into it, I was like, let me just first say there's absolutely nothing funny about what just happened. However, I noticed a couple things. I picked on the first responder being the mall cop. I picked on the fact that some dude in the front row was just sitting there eating a dessert, watching the whole thing happen.
Wow.
It was just crazy.
What kind of dessert was it? I'm
It was
curious.
cheesecake. He was just sitting there eating.
So it's not gonna melt. It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like it's a time sensitive item.
No, like I said, I think he was locked inside. This is the best entertainment he had ever seen. He's like, "Come on, we've ever seen this in the movies. This guy's really almost dying. Is that a real ambulance?"
Oh man. Oh well, I mean, I hope you learned your lesson from playing that Pokemon episode during your set.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
I guess I
yeah.
shouldn't have. I guess I
Had
shouldn't have
Polygon
been screening the guy.
evolve, yeah, on the
Yeah,
middle of your
right.
set. I think it's pretty known for giving people seizures.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, with hecklers and stuff, like a lot of times it's not people having malintent. They're just kind of ignorant, dumb, and drunk, and just trying to say something funny. And now there's a culture of as comedians to put out crowd work clips online. I try and have a mix where I put out crowd work and I put out hecklers, and I also put out, like bits and jokes and things like that I'm actually working on my act, so people can see that stuff. Because I think if you're a fan of comedy and you watch comedy online and all you see is people heckling and clips, you're like, when you go to a show, you almost feel like, oh, I could do that. Like, oh, you're like looking for your moment to be a part of the show. So I think that is kind of contributing to that factor. But at the end of the day, you can kind of have control over that and set the precedence of what's allowed or what's tolerated at your show. Because some people love doing crowd work, and some people just want to go do their act, and they'll just throw people out the second they talk. So,
okay.
I like a little bit of both. Like I'll talk to people, I'll engage with them, but if it gets past the point where I'm either no longer in control because they just won't shut up, or they're being aggressive or whatever it is, then usually the club or some sort of security will come in and intervene and tell the person to stop or just throw them out. I had that happen again in I think I was in Vancouver again. There was 2 ladies that were microdosing magic mushrooms in the front row.
Yes, all right. Shout out to them. I'm a fan of them. I'm on their side.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were 50 years old. It was their first time ever taking mushrooms, and let me tell you, they did not microdose. They macrodosed. They then also not only took mushrooms for the first time, also had a bottle of wine and about 7 beers.
Yes.
And they were
go big or go home.
I
mean, really. Though.
Man, I wish you had their number.
They were no longer in the same reality that the rest of us were in. They were just sitting in the front row, by the way, which is not where you want to be when you're microdosing mushrooms. Sit in the back.
Yeah, I would not want to be in a comedy club. If I'm microdosing.
Yeah, in the corner,
Yeah, just giggling.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to be in the front row under the lights, and they were just having a full-on like dinner conversation in the front row, and it was just a nightmare.
Why is this guy talking to us? He's so loud and right next to us.
They started like picking up their phones and filming themselves, like, oh look, we're at the comedy show, and I was like, all right, this is over. It's over. Yeah.
Oh man.
And it took like 20 minutes to get thrown out and walk to the back of the room, but yeah, that's just part of it, and that's kind of the fun of it when like that's the difference between sitting on your couch and watching a Netflix special and like going out to a live show. Is like there's this energy there's just being out there, and the energy of being in a crowd is totally different. But then just also the aspect that anything could happen. There could be a heckler, there could be someone having a seizure, there could be a new joke I thought of in the moment, whatever. All those things that'll happen, that are the imperfections that just make it fun and wild and exciting.
Yeah, that make live art worth going to see and stuff like that. Yeah, because you can't emulate that, you can't recreate it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I think no matter how advanced we get with all this technology stuff and streaming and all that, I think that no matter what, the live performance will always be a thing at some level. Whether people are just going out to see people that they love and follow from online, or if and it's just in big cities that there's these kind of like sub scenes of art that people go out and see the different levels of it. But I think the live performance will exist in one facet or another for forever. It's just so innate in like human experience.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes before we got to get out of here. Thanks again, Drew Dunn, for taking the time and being a part of the show. And let everyone know one more time where they can find you and all of your work and where they can find the tour dates as well.
Yeah, come find me at DrewDunnComedy.com, at Drew Dunn Comedy on all social media. Check out my podcast, Character Debates. I'm coming to the West Coast again next month. I'm going to be at Mic Drop Comedy in San Diego March 10th through 11th. And I'll be in LA just before that, March 6th through 9th, running around doing a few spots. So
we're going to have to catch you out here in SoCal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come out, man.
Sounds awesome. Sure. Heck yeah. And that's at Drew Dunn Comedy.
Yep, at Drew Dunn Comedy on all socials. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and then DrewDunnComedy.com if you want to check out shows, tickets, all that stuff.
Thank you again so much. I hope we could have you on soon sometime, and whenever you're out in SoCal, you're more than welcome to come by the station. And thank you for everyone for tuning in to Palm Trees in Progress Presents on NBC KCAA 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and 1050 AM in the Inland Empire and worldwide on all streaming platforms. I'm your host, Eric Xavier Solosorio, and joined with us as always is better half of the show, Andrew Berkeley Big Dog Tavares, and then the lovely Abigail Johnson, and our special guest, Drew Dunn. Thanks again, bro. Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, man. Peace.
Yeah, appreciate you, Drew.
Andrew, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
No, dude, Drew, I appreciate you, man. I was gonna say you were my first clip of seeing you was that stolen credit card one. I was gonna say you're just as funny as I remember on that stolen credit card.
Thank you, man.
I was like, dang, this is so cool. We get to watch it, or like we get to like interview. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, guys. It was fun talking with you.
Yeah.
No, thanks for the cool talk and everything. It was nice to meet you.
I know.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
What a very giving person with that. He's like, you got 36 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we need more people like you. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. See you later. Peace out.
Yeah.
KCAA Loma Linda.